Hey everybody. Sorry that we lost you on the other one. I don't know why it stopped broadcasting, but thanks for coming over to the new link. Let's make sure it's playing. Why it stopped broadcasting. Yep. But thanks for coming up. Here we go. So thanks guys. We were talking about putting sources in your description, and maybe that you want to put the title of it and the author, because sometimes people search for that and sometimes it links you to other suggested videos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have, in the chat, do you guys have any advice for descriptions before we move on to something else? Okay. They're a few seconds delayed. Do you have any other questions about descriptions?
No, not really. Yeah.
You said you didn't know too much about your analytics, right?
No, not really. I kind of look through it sometimes, but I don't really know how to, interpret a lot of it. So.
The biggest thing that helps me is going through and seeing what other videos are suggesting our videos, and then I kind of know how to play off of that or where the traffic's coming from. Yes, Good News Channel, we saw your comment on the thumbnails. And then it'd be interesting to see if your audience skews a little younger or if it's the same as like all the other,
Yeah, I
like,
think it is a little bit younger. I don't know if it's like, normal. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Yeah, I mean it's mostly in the 18 to 35 range, but I'm sure that's, pretty standard.
That's true. Yeah.
Let me see, audience. So I have 8.6% of 13 to 17. So I don't know if that's higher than average or, about what it is, but. And it's also very skewed male as well, but I think that's pretty general, video stuff.
But we can, if you do ever have questions about your analytics, you can always let us know.
Definitely.
I think mostly I look at traffic sources. You can also download TubeBuddy. It's an extension. You can download a version of it for free, and that will tell you where your traffic's coming from. Sometimes it will even look up TubeBuddy or vidIQ. The free versions, I think, both tell you if somebody tweeted about it. Like, you can go to your videos and see the actual tweet that somebody sent, or if somebody posted on Reddit or Facebook or anything like that. So you can kind of track down where your traffic sources are or where they're being seen the most. So if you are trying to grow and you're like, oh, maybe somebody posted this in this one Reddit form, then, maybe you can go and post some more. Good News Channel asks, how often do you check your retention rates? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know the retention rates are. Not super often. I just, kind of go on analytics sometimes and, I've seen it, but I don't really know how to, I don't know how it really compares to a lot of other stuff. So let me pull that up. Let's see, retention rate would be in, let's see, where that be? I'm in the app right now, so so the retention rate's the percent watched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your audio went out for a second. But
yeah, sorry, okay. I muted myself because my air was on.
No problem.
But yeah.
So for the last video, my hurricane one, it's 65%, or 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And then let me see how that compares to the other ones. Yeah, 60%. Yeah, they're all right around kind of 60 to 70 in that range.
I think that's really good. I think people say anything over like 40 or 50 means you're doing really, really well.
That's good.
That's the Destin says that the main thing he worries about is timing. You can, as long as you have good audio, obviously that's very important, but timing's where he loses most people. He thinks if you don't move along quick enough, then that's when you lose subscribers and viewers and stuff. So if you're making that far in, it means you're definitely, one, you're teaching them well, and two, your timing and how you edit your videos is very well done.
Yeah, we should try to keep them kind of concise, not really adding in a lot of stuff that's, not important. Plus, it makes it easier to edit when it's shorter. So,
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else was saying theirs is about 50 or 45 to 50% retention rate. So you're doing
okay.
really well. And if you ever have questions like how something compares, you can always ask in the Slack too. And people are usually happy to share their analytics.
Definitely.
So do you want to move on to animation? Do you have other questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I think that's about it for analytics wise. Yeah, it's about it.
So is animation, do you think, your big sticking point right now, or is there something else?
Yeah, probably. It just kind of getting better at it and making it look more professional. So it's kind of what I've been trying to do. But it's kind of hard to practice because I don't, you kind of just do it when I'm making. I don't really just make them for fun. So,
Right.
I think I get a little bit better every time, but they're still not quite at the point I'd like them to.
Yeah, I definitely think they're good. Some things that, I mean, I'm not an expert animator, but some things I've learned along the way. When you're animating in After Effects, do you ever use something called Easy Ease?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
And sometimes people say you can add like a little bit of a bounce to it. So if you do an overshoot, so you do one keyframe past, like have it, if this is where you want it to end up, you go a little bit further and then you come back. So you have like a little bit of a
Mhm.
bounce to it. So it gives it a little bit more of an animation. That's one of the first easy things they teach you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do the graph version of keyframing, or do you just do it in the timeline?
Yeah, we're kind of yeah, I've seen that a little bit. Like the velocity assistant or whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
And
can go ahead.
I think my kind of big problem with animation is like I'm really not that artistic and I'm not really good at drawing. So that's kind of, a big part of animating is getting the stuff to make it in. So I've kind of, made stuff in Illustrator or like, traced other pictures. But I mean, it's, you got to have like the source, the thing that you're animating. So I just try to keep it kind of simple and,
Yeah, I think what you have definitely works. There is a trace tool in Illustrator too. So if you pick something out that you want and you want to make something similar to it, you can start with that. You put it in Illustrator and you can trace it. It's a lot
yeah,
easier than doing it by hand.
definitely.
And then if you're using Illustrator to After Effects, do you ever change them into After Effects shapes?
No, I normally just have them like different layers in Illustrator, and then you import it in as like the each like layer in uh, Illustrator is a different layer in After Effects, and then I just kind of animate those layers.
Yeah, so if you ever want to do more with those layers, you convert the Illustrator ones that you take in, you can convert them to shape files.
Okay.
And then they're an actual like After Effects element. Because right now, I'm guessing when you do open up what you can do with your current animations, it probably gives you like 4 or 5 options, like
Yeah, whereas
position,
that it's
scale,
just
something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you do it as a shape, you can do like trimming and like it gives you, you can mask things. It gives you a lot more options.
Okay.
So if you can't do something that you want to do with an Illustrator file, I try and convert it into a shape. That was
Mhm.
something I learned a little bit later.
Yeah, sounds smart.
I'm trying to see what they're saying in the chat.
Okay.
Roberto Blake says to make stuff to build your portfolio, even if you aren't making it for an audience or a client.
Oh yeah, I really love Roberto Break. That's awesome that he's watching it.
Um, and if you look at Billy But Better, he had never done any animation before starting his channel, as a tip from Good News Channel. So I guess does Billy But Better have animation tutorials, or he's just trying to animate? I don't know. Trinity, let me know. So I don't know how much the people in the chat animate, so I don't know how helpful they're going to be.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't know if you ever want to do characters, but character animator is one of the things that people in the
Yeah.
Slack have been trying out.
Yeah, because I'm doing a project for a business and they're having me use that. So, but yeah, it's kind of cool how it all, I really just love the Adobe Suite and how everything works together. That's kind of why I want to move to Premiere, but I don't know.
If you already know all the shortcuts for Final Cut, it makes it a little difficult.
Should be, yeah. So, I don't know. Is it a lot different in Premiere?
I've never used Final Cut, so I'm not sure. But if you do start to use Premiere, you can, because I know you have when you're talking, I know you have text that slides in and stuff. Sometimes you can create basic templates. They're called live text templates, and you can
Yeah.
create them in After Effects and then import them into Premiere. And you can manipulate them just in Premiere as like an asset. So from video to video as like a branded element, you can just have that in Premiere and change the text that's in it.
Yeah.
So it makes the workflow a little easier because I think you're mostly doing most of your editing in a day, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Because what I have is I have, like the owned font that I use for that. And yeah, it's about a day. I kind of do my rough cut with editing and then, add in like my pictures and like simple stuff like the text in Final Cut. And then like the parts that I need to make in After Effects, I export that file and then put it in there, uses like the audio and then, kind of doing that. So yeah, it's pretty much everything in a day, at least the
And
animating.
yeah. And there are certain plugins, some of them are free. I think Mr. Horse was the one that was recommended to me by Miriam that animates objects and text, like has the bounce and the moving and the fading and all that. I'll send you the link when we're done with this.
Hmm.
And you can just add it to elements. You literally just pick a layer and you say, I want this to fade in or randomly generate letters until you get to the final text or anything like that. So you don't have to actually go through and keyframe it, and you don't have to write any expressions or anything like that for it
Really?
either.
Yeah, that sounds really good because then I could, just export the whole thing and then just do all of the, stuff in After Effects and then it seems to be a lot easier. So,
So I'll send you a link to the plugin and their website.
okay.
Yes, Trinity, I will put that. Maybe I'll put that in general for everybody. Trying to think of other animation tricks that I know. Oh, you had a graph in your battery and lemon video. How did you animate that? Oh no. Is the internet frozen? Are you still there? I'm typing to you guys in the chat in case you can't see me live. Hey.
Yeah, I don't know if that was my connection or what, but
Yeah, I don't know. My question was, how did you animate that graph that you had in the lemon and battery video?
so I think it was just that was I didn't use anything in Illustrator. That was
Oh man.
all in. So there's an answer.
Sorry, you went in and out. I'm trying to ask the chat if we're both glitchy or is it on one side or the other for us.
Yeah.
I tried to take my video quality down as low as it would go.
Is it now or still kind of glitchy?
Still a little glitchy. I asked if we were both glitchy or just you, and they said, unfortunately, it's just you.
Okay. So I can try turning it a bit. That make a difference.
Yeah, if you just want to try and go to audio only, we'll see if that makes the difference. I can do the same if needed.
Okay.
I think I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So for the graph, it was just like the lines and then, I don't know, some thing to animate the line. Oh, I think it was a path. It was a path and then, the path got animated.
Yeah, because it looked like your two lines were pretty cool. They both came up at different times. And then you had, it looked like the actual chart, the axis for that faded in at some point.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody noticed how like the time that goes into that.
You can build graphs in Illustrator too. They have a chart tool, so you can it kind of pulls up a little spreadsheet and you can copy and paste what you have in Excel.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it will build it for you, and then you can go in there and change the different layers there. And there's probably a good tutorial out there that would help you a little bit better. But if you bring it into After Effects, it gets a little weird sometimes. So I think you have to make sure you pull out the right thing in the different layers if you're trying to like animate just the axis by itself compared to just the graph. So you might have to rearrange the layers a certain way in Illustrator, but you can easily build it in Illustrator and bring it in. That's way easier. I used to build them in Excel and then try and do stuff that way and animate it, and it never worked well. So hopefully that helps you in the future, because that graph looked really cool.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll have plenty more in the future.
Yep.
Do you have? I think you also had questions about scripts. I think that was in the form that you filled out. That was one of the things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think I just kind of need to get better as like a writer. So I kind of use like a lot of the same words. Like I'll say, let's see, I'll look at the video that I just wrote because I probably used it a bunch of times. I'll say like the words let's and a lot of buts, or using this, we know. I say we know a lot, or we can figure out. So I just think I need to get better as a writer and kind of spend more time on the script. So, but I don't know if there's any tips for making the scripts better. But
we do have a channel in the Slack for swapping scripts. So if you want to put it in there, I know you had us review, like some science people review your ball bearing one for this fidget spinner. But if you wanted somebody to go through and kind of work through some of those issues, you can post it in there. Even if it's an old script, just to get a review of maybe how to fix it a little bit. Do you use a teleprompter, or do you try and memorize stuff?
Yeah, I just recently, maybe a few months ago, I got a teleprompter. It's like the Parrot one, so it works with your phone, which I like because it doesn't really like block the microphone. It's a lot smaller and it just goes around the lens.
Okay.
Plus, since it's like your phone, your eyes aren't really moving as much, so it doesn't have to be as far away from you, so you can tell. Because I, film, where the camera's only like an arm's length away, so I can control it. And I don't think you can really tell that I'm reading off a teleprompter. At least I hope not.
Um, I thought you were reading like a teleprompter, but that's only because I use one. So it's hard to know if like other people
Yeah.
would know.
In
Um,
which video? Because I know in my last one, in the hurricane video, that was kind of a weird setup. Uh,
no, it was one of the
in all,
earlier, like more recent ones, but not the hurricane one.
yeah. So I just kind of need to fine tune that. What kind of teleprompter do you use?
I built one and then I put an iPad on it.
What kind of app do you use? Because that's what I've kind of been trying to find a
Um,
good app to use.
Smart, Prompt Smart. Uh, I think it's only for iOS. So,
Yeah, I use iOS.
okay. Yeah. So I like Prompt Smart because it has voice recognition. And
Hmm.
so as I'm saying the script, it's scrolling along with me. Sometimes it goes a little fast, but usually it's pretty good. And that way I don't have to go up and hit it and move it as I go. And it also, I don't know where you write your scripts, but I have people review it in Google Drive. So my scripts are there and it imports scripts from Google Drive.
That's
So
really
it's
nice.
it's pretty easy to do it that way. And you can
Yeah,
make edits in there too. So if you're going through your script and you're like, oh, this line just is terrible, you can go into edit mode and change the wording behind it.
yeah. But I really like using a teleprompter because I didn't really used to notice, but before I did a lot of jump cuts, and now I, try to keep it down to maybe like one or two a video, and even when I do, I try to cover it up with, animation or graphic or whatever.
Yeah, you definitely have good transitions between your jump cuts. You have animations, or you have your text, or you have your B-roll outside shooting stuff, or whatever you're doing.
Hmm. So yeah, I'll probably try to get that app because some of the other ones, it's hard to control the speed and whatnot.
Another thing that might be easier for your graphics too, it's harder for when you're using a teleprompter, I've found, but if you try and stand to the side or just some shots be off to the side, one or two of your motion graphics, like your text that came in, kind of went over your face.
Yeah,
It's difficult when you're sitting in the middle, but if you're like off to the side like this, it's easier to, if you know you're going to put text or something, it's easier to put pictures and text and stuff in on the side.
yeah. I've definitely seen like SciShow and people like that do that. And plus, when you film it on a green screen, you can actually move it over. But
Right.
yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Um, they were saying if you do post your script, they people can give you feedback in the Slack
Awesome, it's good to know.
and help you hone some of your writing skills. And that's
Perfect.
alliterative. I don't know if
Oh,
you've seen their videos or
I
read their
have.
scripts.
Yes,
They have amazing
that's good.
scripts.
Because English is my
Um,
worst subject in school, so
so they'll definitely be able to help.
awesome.
Do you have other questions about your channel or production? I think your lighting looks good.
Yeah, I just switched recently to LEDs instead of like the big lights, which is nice because they get really the old ones got really hot. Plus, I'd be have my door closed and the fan off, so it'd be pretty bad.
Yeah. And in Florida, it probably gets pretty
Yeah,
hot.
yep. So it's pretty bad. I had to like take breaks every 5 minutes to like cool off. So LEDs are the way to go.
And for any of the things that you've ever built, this is just a random side building question. Have you ever tried to post any of your builds anywhere? Like,
Um, well, I used to do a lot more kind of building because that's what I did in my free time. Now I've been doing more YouTube videos, but I
okay.
have made a few videos on like the science behind it. So I made a Jacob's ladder and I did a video on that one. Um, and then let's see what other.
Because you had like a potato gun or something that looked like you made too.
Potato. What video was that in?
Maybe it wasn't potato. You shot the
Oh, with the
watermelon.
fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that a while ago, and I just kind of adapted it for that. Let's see.
because we post some of like the things that we build, especially if it has 3D printing elements, on a site called hackster.io.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's other ones like Instructables and stuff like that. And sometimes if you post your stuff there, you get exposure to different audiences if you're
Hmm.
looking to branch out. So if you ever do how you make something or your behind the scenes kind of thing, you could possibly put them
Do
up on
that
a build
instructive.
website.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been just getting into 3D printing. Our engineering class has a 3D printer, so it's been pretty cool to use.
It's like a really good engineering class.
Yeah, and also in the engineering class, just today we submitted a grant for another weather balloon. So I'm going to try to get grant money for another weather balloon that has more funding. So hopefully that goes through.
Yeah, that'd be great. Would you fly some sensors and stuff?
Yeah, so because my last one was like pretty much the bare minimum like that you could possibly do. This one's gonna have sensors and APRS tracker and 3 cameras. So
Nice.
and the government pays for it, so works out pretty well.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to build an APRS ground station and get do any of you guys have your ham radio license?
No, I'm working on that, but I guess it relays it from ham radio stations on the ground and then they relay it on the internet. So
Yep.
yep,
So
I'm
and
excited for that.
you can look up the APRS maps ahead of time too. So if you're looking for your launch or landing site, you can make sure that there are a couple of stations on the ground around
Yeah,
you.
Florida's all pretty populated, so I shouldn't really have any big problems with that. But
That's true. When we were launching, it was in the middle of Nebraska, so we were worried.
yeah, and then I also have a spot tracker as the backup, so hopefully that'll all go good.
Yep, it's a good plan.
Hmm.
That you used the spot last time, right?
Yeah, and it worked fine, but it was still kind of nerve-wracking.
I asked the chat if they had more general advice and stuff, and somebody said one little thing about Twitter. I know you said you try to mix in personal stuff and promo, but recently your feed looks a little bit bare. Of course, it may be that Twitter isn't the place you want to focus on, but it might be worth trying to cultivate some connections there.
Yeah, I really love Twitter, like as a social media platform, but I feel like whenever I do kind of post stuff, I don't really get that much feedback
Hmm.
on it. So I Twitter would like to be a place where I could just kind of talk about what's happening and whatnot, but I feel like not a whole lot of people really see it. So maybe I will start trying to do it more because I really like Twitter. I just don't really have a huge following, so I don't know how many people are seeing what I'm writing.
Their suggestion is to use hashtag SciComm. That's a
Okay.
pretty big community. And I think, especially since your videos are of such quality and you're so young, I think that gives you a definite advantage that people are going to want to try and help you and promote your stuff, especially if you
Awesome.
have questions for them.
Hmm. Yeah, because a lot of it's like I'm really not qualified to like talk about a lot of stuff I'm talking about. So, there's a lot of great people on like the Slack, like, I know Science Asylum and Up and Atom, they do, a lot of physics stuff and they really know what they're talking about, unlike me. So, it's good. But at
But
least
I,
like, for me, they don't really expect me to be qualified. So I think that's kind of nice is I can not really know everything and people are okay with that. Whereas I think if
yeah,
I was an adult and trying to talk about physics, they'd be like, well, you don't have any qualifications. Why are you doing this? So I think I have a little bit of a free pass, which is good.
yeah. Um, I definitely think that's true. And I think they're going to give you a little more leeway if you do get something wrong and probably hopefully help you out and not be mean trolls.
Yeah, definitely. It's all been really positive. I really haven't gotten any negative feedback, which is always, I mean, not like, in a mean way, like in a
Yeah.
constructive way. Yeah. But so it's really been a really good community.
Their other Twitter tip is to start building a following. I think it's key to reach out and reply to others, especially the smaller or medium level people that you find interesting. So
Yeah,
don't,
definitely. I've been trying to follow a lot of people on like this, part of We Created You on Twitter, and they seem to be, posting a lot of cool stuff. So trying to interact with that, maybe do that more.
and getting yourself into conversations with other people, much more than broadcasting.
Mhm.
Though I would, though some behind the scenes pictures would be great to post out there too.
Yeah, kind of like the progress and stuff. I also try to do that
Yeah.
on Snapchat a lot, but I know that's not really.
It's harder to get an audience on Snapchat. Then
Yeah,
people can't share your snaps. And
yeah, yeah.
so do you know what you want to do in the future? Like, do you want to be like a science communicator or an engineer, or do you know what your end goal is?
Well, I really like science communication stuff, which I'd kind of love to do forever, but I don't know if I can really do it forever. So I probably want to go to college for mechanical engineering because that uses physics, but there's a lot of jobs in it. Because if
Yeah.
I got a degree in physics, it's kind of hard to find a job. So the mechanical engineering, I'm using physics. I learn a lot about it. I could always get my PhD in physics as well if I wanted to, and then probably do science communication as long as I can, and then do mechanical engineering.
Sounds like a pretty good plan. Um,
Yeah, so we'll see what
do you
happens.
know what you would want to do as a mechanical engineer?
Not entirely. There's a lot of things I'm interested in. I'm really interested in like boats, maybe like designing hulls and stuff for that, or maybe aerospace stuff. But I kind of like it all, so we'll have to see what happens.
And you can still do a lot of science communication with companies. When I worked at Kennedy, I was in the NASA Speakers Bureau, so that's kind of where I got the bug to be a science communicator.
Yeah.
So even as your job as an engineer, you can join either things like that, and some companies like sending people out to promote their brand in the community, and then you get to volunteer at schools or libraries and things, and so you can do that's how I did both.
Yeah, and then you're also talking to people about stuff that you're doing, which you know a lot about, which is good.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to do it that way too. You obviously still need to prepare, but not nearly as much as you do for a YouTube video because, like you said, it's what you do every day anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, so you can always do this on the side and as a hobby. So even if it's not full-time job, it's still something you can do.
And the chat said to mention that there are now degrees in science communication. Just to let you know.
Ooh, fun.
I know that a couple of YouTubers did that. They got their degrees in like what's it? Braincraft got her degree in psychology, and then she was working as kind of a science communication thing for the government, and then she went back to school for science communication.
Hmm.
And same with Gross Science and the new math series by PBS, Infinite something. Um, all of them got like math and science undergrads, and then went for their masters in science communication.
Ooh, that's very cool.
So, do you have other questions or anything that you want to talk about?
Um, Not really. I've just, like I said, my growth's been kind of stagnant lately, and I don't know if it's like, anything that I can do to kind of get myself out there a little bit more.
Yeah, chat. We were talking about this a little bit before we started. I think he's doing pretty good because he's been picking very topical questions like the hurricane and the fidget spinners and stuff. And you've been doing collabs with people, so you're doing like all the things on the YouTube checklist for how to get your content out and how to grow. So, chat, do you guys have any suggestions for what he could do for his channel for some growth? Like you said, the biggest obviously was Tom Scott,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of been steadily growing, or did it kind of level off?
No, it really leveled off like a lot. It was, doing pretty good for like the first month. And then I got a little bit of boost from when I went on like the Harry show. I probably got about 500 from that. And now I'm maybe averaging like 2 to 5 subscribers a day, which, I mean, it's not horrible, but, you know,
Yeah,
it'd be one thing. Like, I don't really care about the number. It's more that it's growing, that more people are finding it. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um, I didn't look. How often do you put out videos?
Well, for like a really long time, pretty much since my Tom Scott video went out to like the beginning of, probably since a few months ago. I did it every 2 weeks, pretty much every other Friday.
Hmm.
But then I kind of, well, first the summer happened, so I was doing a lot of other stuff, and I really just wanted to focus more on quality. Because at first, my videos only took a week to make. I would take a week off, and then I'd, research my video Monday, write it Tuesday, film it Wednesday, edit it Thursday, and Friday, and then post it. But now, I can't really do that, and I think I try to put a lot more time into it and make them better rather than kind of putting out more.
Yeah.
So probably now I try to do every 2 weeks, but it's probably every 2 to 4 weeks.
Um, that is probably part of it too. YouTube likes to see videos every, I think the stat was 2 weeks,
Hmm.
no more than 3 weeks apart, to keep the algorithm churning and putting your content back out in front of people. At least that's what it was the past VidCon. That's what the advice from some of the larger YouTubers that we're friends with were telling us.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't really know. It's like I at first it was kind of like I had a form and then I kind of do it, but now I've been trying to break away from that and kind of branch out and do more things and experiment more with animations. So it just takes longer, and I want to be proud of them.
yeah, because they're going to be on the internet for a long time.
Yep, that's true.
The chat has not given me any advice, probably because we're all trying to struggle with the same thing. Be consistent and make better content so we can grow.
Yep.
I'm talking with Josh from YouTube a little bit about getting people on here to teach us how to do better workflows for Premiere and After Effects and stuff like that. So we
Mhm.
can make better content, but also do it quicker. So we know kind of the steps from A to Z. What does like a professional person do in their day?
Mhm.
So hopefully that's going to happen in the next few months.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So I'm asking the chat one more time if they have anything else, but I think, yeah, the chat just said pretty much if we had any advice, we'd be following it ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think that's the biggest struggle.
Yeah. But it seems like a lot of channels, they do really well and they don't, post consistently. So
Yes.
but I guess they already have that audience, so, it matters less.
Yeah, and even like Real Engineering and was it Wendover Productions
Hmm.
has a podcast, and they were
Yeah,
talking
I've
on
listened
there
to it.
about
I love
that, and they were saying that they had that issue in the beginning where they would get lots of views, but they had no good content, so then people wouldn't stick around.
it.
So
Yeah.
I think your strategy is really good in the fact that let's say you do get another Tom Scott or experience kind of thing. You got a lot of subs from that, but you'll probably even get more next time because they're going to look back at all your content and see how
Yeah.
great it is.
I know what you mean. Because I was like, of course, I'm really grateful for what happened, and it kind of, I probably wouldn't be doing videos if that didn't happen. But it was almost like, if you click on a channel and somebody only has, like 100 subscribers, you're like, well, I'm probably not gonna subscribe. So, I mean, I'm glad it happened, but it got 1 million views, and I mean, 10,000 is still a lot, but it's a pretty small percentage of 1 million. So I think if
Yeah.
I already had better videos and better content, and like a mid-sized channel, then maybe do better. But I'm still really grateful for everything that it did do. So
Yeah.
can't really complain.
And two, if you have the videos that you have are really good. So if you did want to, you said you're doing something already for somebody else, I think, right? A job that was it related to production stuff?
Yeah, it's actually for my dad's company. It's like a promotional video for them, so it doesn't have anything to do with science. But
Yeah, but you have you're showing that you have these video skills and it could help you more in the future too
yeah, and
with
kind of learning
whatever
After
else.
Effects is, and the whole Adobe suite's pretty important as well.
Yep. So the chat did not have any more specific advice for you. So I think the big thing is I'm going to post the plugin for you in the Slack. And if you
Mhm.
want people to review your script and kind of go over how to maybe tighten it up a little bit, especially alliterative is going to be great at that.
Yeah,
You can post that in the script channel and any script that you want, even if it's old, and they'll help you out with that.
awesome. Sounds great.
So unless you have any more questions, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, it was great. I definitely got a lot of good advice, and I learned a lot.
Well, thanks so much for filling out the form and coming on. Your channel, I think, is getting it, you're doing everything you can and everything right. So hopefully it grows even more, and maybe Tom Scott or someone else will let you on again soon.
Yep, we'll have to see.
All right, thanks, chat. And we will see you guys probably in October.
Okay, thank you.